Last year, around this time, a lot of people in VFX were saying the same thing, just survive 2025. So, let's talk about what actually happened this year and what it quietly changed. So, let's start with the loudest thing, AI. AI is everywhere this year, overhyped, misunderstood, talked about non-stop. And to be clear, AI is not new. We have been using machine learning in VFX for years, linearizing, tracking, upscaling. None of that was revolutionary. What changed was visibility. ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, and then commercial tools like Sora, Kling, Runway, and open source softwares like ComfyUI. Suddenly, everyone has AI access in their hands, and everyone started posting their opinions. But production reality did not change as fast as this exciting demos, because once you leave the LinkedIn and step into pipeline, there are still hard questions that most AI demos avoids. Will AI generated mat or DMPs or elements will pass the proper studio tech checks? Can they reliably output floating point EXRs? And what happens when client asks for revisions for a particular small region of an AI generated image? These are not philosophical questions. These are production blockers. And then we had a mid-journey copyright mess. And honestly, that was most one of the important moments of this year. Not because any single ruling, because it showed how unprepared the law is for generative AI. Artists assumed protection, companies assumed freedom, and courts are still catching up with this. Another thing has been happened quickly this year was the sheer volume of new models, datasets, fine-tunes, LoRa's, variants, and distillations. There are now so many AI releases that most artists stopped trying to keep track. The flood itself became noise. When everything is new, nothing feels stable enough to trust. And regarding the AI, there is the part of people that don't like to say out loud. The biggest cost in VFX is not technology, it's people. Scott Ross went Film Talk Radio this year, probably to promote his book, and ended up saying the quiet part out loud. Client always want highest quality in the lowest price. This has never changed. In the early 2000s, studios chased subsidies, then cheap labor overseas, then India, now AI. Still the same game, new tool. And I had this moment watching AI Coca-Cola ad with my family. I disliked it personally, but they loved it. They don't care about whether it's AI generated or not. For them, it just looked good enough. That tells you everything. If you opened LinkedIn this year, you probably noticed something strange. It used to be full of genuinely impressive works. Now it's just endless AI reels and AI write ups, half baked, overconfident, and very loud. And this is not because everyone suddenly become dishonest. There is a sociologist named Irving Goffman who described life as a series of masks: work mask, social mask, family mask, and LinkedIn is a professional mask. It's not the place for truth, it's a place for signaling competence, optimism, and employability. So, of course, everyone posts AI breakthroughs. This is what the platform rewards. Understanding that makes it less annoying and more dangerous. Now, here's the interesting part. While flashy AI tools fought for attention, something quieter happened. ComfyUI. ComfyUI did not win this year by friendly, it won by being honest. Open source, node based, works offline, and no magic. You see everything models, schedulers, samplers, noise, and conditioning. That scared the beginners, but it attracts professional users. If you are working Nuke or Houdini, ComfyUI feels familiar. You are not prompting and hoping, you are building a process. Serious AI expectation for VFX moved here first. New models showed up here first. When something broke, you could see why and what's happening behind the screen. But on the other side, it's not pretty. Sometimes update break things and community notes vary widely in quality. There are 38 official releases of the core config that are documented changelog between 2025 from early small patch releases in December. But professionals always choose control over convenience. ComfyUI may not be production ready yet, but is an incredible tool for iteration and ideation. And more importantly, it proved to be something bigger. During the COVID content boom, the creative division could spin out public and grow forever. But reality arrived fast. 6 weeks after the IPO, profit productions went cut and stock was never recovered. The failure might not be as a creative, but it was structural and became a long time. By 2025, contract hiring became the normal. 2 months contract, 3 month contract, and the permanent roles are disappearing slowly. You can survive like that, but studio based on an idea. The idea changes, the deadline changes, but the budget does not. Everyone absorbs the damages until some mask breaks. One last thing that deserves to be calling out, the no CGI narrative. Hundreds of artists working on films for years. The marketing goes out and proudly claims everything was practical. The media repeats it, audience shares it, VFX stays invisible. VFX is not good bad for default. It can be done well or poorly. Pretending it does not exist only devalues for people who make it work. And a minor shakeup during the VFX industry was the talk of the tariff on films that was made outside the US. And it completely misses how VFX actually works. VFX is not manufacturing, it's not tied to a single location. A film can start in Los Angeles, composite in Mumbai, and tracked in Malaysia, and graded in London. You cannot tariff a render. And Nuke 17 was more power, more features, and more dependency, which raises a quiet question no one likes to ask. What happens when industry cannot afford its cold tool anymore? Where does that leave us? People still want stories. Studios still needs videos and images. The VFX industry is not disappearing, but it's changing and not gently. I feel like most of the damage has already happened between 2023 to 2025. 2026 is all about living up consequences and what next. Until 2025, everyone is experimented. In 2026, maybe experiments that didn't integrate in pipeline will be dropped. Tools that saved minutes, not miracles, will survive. Some things looks cool on LinkedIn workflows will quietly disappear. Students won't chase innovation anymore. They will chase the predictability.